Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday. How is everyone doing today? Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, OD Green. Love some Krispy Kreme. Yeah, well, the dorks are back in town. Yep. Good morning, John. Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, Royal Palms. How is everyone? Where's everybody this morning? Was it taking off? How's my blood pressure today? My blood pressure's fine. Resting heart rate. Apple Watch is tracking it. My resting heart rate is 51 beats per minute. You know, my blood pressure didn't go up yesterday. It was just, sometimes I get animated. What's called animated about things. Good morning, Tony. Good, you can only hold it in for so long in this insane environment. Hello, Charles. Good morning, Jake. Here comes everybody. You're coming in after the countdown. I'm going to have to change up the countdown then. I'm going to have to change up the countdown. So, we're waiting for more people to filter in. Let's just start looking at it. We had initial jobless claims coming out. 217 dropping from prior, below consensus. Continued. So people are not getting laid off as much, but continuing jobless claims are still remaining very elevated. Having a hard time finding a job. What else we have? At 15 minutes after cash open, we have the S&P Composite Manufacturing and Services numbers. We have the Kansas City Fed at 11 a.m. Eastern. We have the Fed balance sheet this afternoon, which was prior 666 trillion. I hope it changes from that. There's an ominous sign right there. So far, let's see the map this morning. We have Tesla, which was a beat, but their results were so dumbed down it was hard. Even with a beat, it was bad. But you had Google with a beat. Chips still running higher. T-Mobile had earnings up 4.3%. Are buyouts considered layoffs? Well, not unless they lay people off. If they lay people off, yeah. But they have to lay them off first. Just because the company's bought out, it has to go through, there's the restructuring. You have CSX and NSC on merger talks up. Groups, you got Comm Services, which is really Google this morning, up 1.56%. Consumer cyclical down. A lot of other stuff is flat. What else? How does that... I hate when that changes. I wish I could lock that. There we go. What else we have? Yeah, well, if they quit... Well, you mean buyouts. You mean if people are buying jobs out? No, because you're voluntarily unemployed. So if companies are saying, you can leave your role, we'll pay you, let's say, we'll give you early retirement, we'll pay you for another year, and you leave your role, that's not unemployment. That is not. Can we check on AAL? AAL had earnings this morning. Fed Watch, still for the pause, and Trump's insanity about still tweet. All right, I'm going to always call it tweeting, whatever you do on social media, whether it's on Truth Social or whatever. Saying 1%, even if we aggressively cut, look where the market has the long-term rates. Let's even say you dropped them there tomorrow. We're at 3.25 to 3.5%. There's nowhere near 1. I don't know why he's tweeting 1. Even if he wants 2, 1's an absolute insanity. Extreme greed. We're back to extreme greed. Close to 39 with a Schiller PE. So this market is insane. But again, do not short it. Do not short this market. Tesla, Alphabet, IBM, also Chipotle. Chipotle missed on revenue yesterday. Chipotle missed on revenue. And still the huge, massive weekly is playing out. I think there's a lot of things that affect jobless numbers. Also, people are getting laid off and just going to gig work. There's driving part-time or there's delivering DoorDash because it pays technically more than you'd get in unemployment. A lot of unemployment benefits are crap. UNH under DOJ probe and down an open door. Well, that's part of the dorks. We're going to look at the dorks. After the Close, we have Intel. Intel's probably the biggest. It's not going to be market moving, but it's going to be interesting. And tomorrow morning, not much. Not much. Again, I thank everybody for tuning in. Maybe I lost a lot of people after yesterday's rant. I think I lost a lot of people. So, you know what? Oh, well. Oh, well. All right. Let's go through the door. A couple things. By the way, this market, absolutely insane. But again, things get more insane. Here you go. I think this is highlighted by, it's from Bloomberg source, but it was highlighted from Zero Hedge today. NASDAQ number of consecutive days above 20-day moving average. We're here. We're here. This was the dot. I mean, I traded the .com. I was in the .com every day. And I mean, I remember it like yesterday. So this has so many reminders, and I've stated this before. I've stated this before about the .com, but this has so many reminders. This is why I would not short. It'll give us a topping pattern at some point. We're over? I think it was 68 days above the 20-day moving average without reconnecting with it. That's just a simple moving average, which is fine. But again, insanely overextended. Can it get more overextended? Yes, it can. All right. That's why I'm still pullbacks in the rotation zone. Still looking at them. We have, here's the top side. Besides, we have the park your money from Jim Cramer. What was that, a couple weeks ago? Which is really crap. You know, the crap stocks. Now we have highlighting that there were meme 2.0 with the New York Times, the DORKs. We have donut. We have Krispy Kreme. There's your donut. I mean, again, if you want to gamble, I already went on the rant yesterday. You want to gamble on this crap. If you don't know what I'm talking about, listen to yesterday. And it was not a planned rant. I do never plan rants, else it wouldn't be rants. But this is a vertical up, vertical down of Krispy Kreme. D for dorks, donut. Open door. Open door. There you go. Vertical up, vertical down. Still not close below 62.5, so we could get another secondary reaction, which then I'd be watching again. If you're insane enough to try to do something, fine. But again, on a secondary reaction bounce, where do I watch for? Mainly between, it would be 351 to about 388. I'd watch for a potential bounce there and a rollover play. If it can't even get there, then if we break these lows, watch out below. Now, these things, you can still get squeezes. Now, one of the stupidest things in this article, we're talking about meme stocks, all right? Yes, CMG might be a good statement, Rick. It could be a canary. Because, again, that's where a lot of younger kids eat. And I eat Chipotle. I like a good Chipotle bowl with double meat, no rice, double meat. Want to get the extra protein in. But, you know what? There's been less and less when I might go every couple weeks to grab a Chipotle bowl. It's still, for fast food, it's a healthier option if you build your bowl right. No tortilla. And they use their, organic and source stuff. So it's less and less foot traffic. And they missed on revenue. So we've opened, here's from the article. Let me read this to you. One line. We're talking about meme stocks, all right? How silly is this line? With some online stock boosters praising Opendoor, the real estate platform, for being the first meme stock led by a female chief executive, that historical footnote could not prevent the company's stock from dropping 20% in a day. What would it matter? What would it matter? If it's a short squeeze meme stock dork thing, what would it matter if it's led by a male or a female? Why does that even friggin' matter? It's a vertical up, vertical down. Everything's insane. I feel like I live in an insane world. Then we have Rocket Mortgage. Rocket Mortgage, there you go. It's off like a rocket ship. Okay, this is another reason Jim was talking about a potential shorten this a few weeks ago, and I'm like, I would not be shorting this thing, and this is exactly why. This is exactly why. There's another one. And then we have Coles, which we already looked at yesterday. Coles, the dorks. Vertical up, vertical down. This is, again, why you give people tons of leverage. This is why I'm against the changing the day trading rules. And low, it's not, I don't think there should be pattern day trading rules. Don't get me wrong. It's idiotic. It's asinine. But giving people more leverage with a smaller account is just as equally idiotic and asinine. This is where people get crushed and lose more than they even signed up for. Thank you for streaming. You don't lose the L's. Thanks, OD Green. Only pure rants here at PTP. None of those. Maybe it should be pure rant. Maybe you should rename the channel PRP, Pure Rant Partners. You guys can all be parts of the Pure Rant Partners. Nonsense. Yeah, the fee. What does it matter? It's a short squeeze meme stock thing. I don't care if it's a green alien running the company. It doesn't change it. Maybe if it was a green alien, it would get more interest. No, not a DEI rant. Oh, don't even start me on DEI. We're not hiring on merit. We're hiring the way you look. Think how successful your company will be if it just hires the way people look instead of hiring the job they can do. Think about that. Oh, yes. Let's all go invest in those companies, people. Wow. Let's go to UNH. Again, do not buy this crap that starts falling because there's never one cockroach. There is never one cockroach in this crap. Now they're under DOJ investigation. At some point, yeah, it's probably not going to zero, but you know what? Yeah, the P to E, 11, dividend yield, 3. I'm not taking chances on this. When things, again, you had the CEO of the division killed, all right? But then it was coming out how we're denying claims and everything else. Now you're under investigation by DOJ. Not touching this stock. I don't care if it pops. I don't care what it does. I'm not touching a story stock like this because something else could come out. Indictments could come out. A lot of stuff could come out, and this thing could keep getting beat up. I don't care if it's a decent value yet. You know what? I need this stuff to blow over. I'm not worried about missing a partial move because I don't want to be stuck holding a bag. All right, no, more indictments coming out, blah, blah, blah. We haven't even hit the 87.5 yet. We're still against the rotation zone. Could it drop lower? Yeah, we could easily get down to this major consolidation area. And I don't have a lot, but separate from that, if I'm just playing pure technicals, I don't like to play news story stocks, especially ones that are under criminal investigation. Sorry, it's just something that it does not end well. I remember stuff, oh boy. Sorry. Stella? I remember stuff back, we had WorldCom, Enrons, they'd start crumbling and just thing after thing came out. Thing after thing came out. So, there's your stuff. If you're looking for something, I'd be looking for a more bottoming pattern. If you were looking, you could set up at some point a weekly bottom, maybe against the 87.5. I'd still wait for it to trigger. But that's where it sits. If you're looking for downside targets, again, I'd be looking for about 243 to about 212. That would be my target window. There was a big base there. Back. Look, this is where trying to grab stuff and fighting still the downward trend is a fool's game. So, and if you're looking to structure short things on any pops, I'd be structuring it for at least maybe the 245s, 215s, 220s. So, could be great. I'm not playing it though. HIMS. Oh, well, remind me about that. Let's get to the overall broad market. S&P. S&P, we had the one pausing bar, broke out, continuing higher. We hit some minor harmonics yesterday. I already took them off. The next major level is this 64.20, 64.30 level. Major pullback level, 12.5% harmonic. 63.52, the minor levels I'm watching. Going into the open, I'm watching the top of the 4-hour rotation zone area, 63.90. If we pull back before that, 63.71. Anywhere in there, I'm looking for still buy patterns. Is this a topic pattern? No. If you're looking at anything here, it's a sideways, slightly down, sideways channeling pattern. That's all it is. So, now, another thing I want to say. Remember I talked about this just a couple minutes ago. This leads to, I have a thing called the instability index. This is one of the components. It's actually based off of the 21-day exponential. But what does this mean? I'm just using their graphic because I don't have it quantified like this. When you get to stuff like this, the trend keeps going, but this is why I keep saying, be prepared for potential outside key reversal days should something come out of the blue. If we get some black swan event, we're very unstable. It could lead to a cascade of selling. Can we predict that? No, because this is already overruled. We've had end of wave counts. We've had DeMark potential major sell setups. We've had harmonic sell setups. Nothing has followed through. So the insanity it just makes, the longer this insanity continues, the more unstable it makes it. And when it gets more unstable, you don't get an ordinary reversal, you get an extraordinary reversal. So just keep that in mind and know where your longer term stops are. All right. NASDAQ. Again, we had Alphabet's earnings coming back, little minor. The two key areas are right here. Next key harmonic is 23.6. We've already hit twice now. The 23.429 harmonic, we hit it back on Monday. We nearly hit it Wednesday, and we pretty much hit it today. The area. All right, I'm paying attention to the 4-hour rotation zone. We've already pulled back there. Going to watch for some kind of rotation up into the open if we hold this level. If not, then I'm looking closer to the bottom of the 4-hour and closer to about 23,300. If we break through there, going to be a little more patient because the major support is back at 21,200, 21,191. Hey, Christoph, how you doing? The Dow still has potential double top territory. This is going to get a little beat up today off UNH, but nothing's triggered here. Longer term, I'm watching this in the Dow. Until then, this trend is still up. Going to be patient with the Dow today because I said yesterday I was looking at the Dow. Today, I'm being very patient because of UNH, which is a major Dow component. Russell, again, broke out. This was not when I was looking at the S&P. I told you yesterday I was looking at the S&P and Dow, which both did good. The Russell came up. Russell broke out too. Again, some major support in Russell 2270. The Russell's still breaking out on a lot of unprofitable stocks getting squeezed, which those can revert quickly. It's not a quality breakout. Again, your target, should it keep going, 2304, 2316, and then a major target for me, 2335. VIX, we just had the comment by VIX Sped took a beating yesterday. Yeah, VIX hedges are. And again, there's no fear in this. There's sell vol, buy it all. Okay, can it keep dropping? I'm not worried about that. These are hedges for me. Again, and I really like hedges. You know, there's some stuff because we're so instable. But this thing, could we get a major event that pops the VIX above 30 in an instant? Yeah. And then your hedges won't look so bad. But though time, again, these are minor hedges. The time I really love hedges are going September through expiration of October, especially if we go with the instability index climbing. DAX gapped above the trend line and back below it. There's no setup here at this point. It's because of the gap and it's horizontal channel. There's nothing I'm looking at in the DAX right now, unless we get shorter term patterns, which are not. Technically, I'm not watching for a gap fill. Yields bouncing back up. Holding support yesterday. Did not trigger the percent B buy yesterday, but following through today. So we did not have a strong bottoming pattern that I trade. So I'm going to be watching for any pullback now to see if we can hold, especially the 4-hour rotation zone for a micro yield buy setups. 30-year also climbing again. Crude. We had a 4-hour double bottom. This is a short-term pattern only. Already hit the first level. It could have been traded on the 1 hour. You see the 1 hour coming up close to first target, but then basing there in 1 hour rotation zone. So already hit the first target. It would be an aggressive long at this point because it already hit the first target. But if it continues, 66.50 and 66.74 are the next targets higher. And this is not a long-term bounce. This is a short-term bounce only. Gold, we identified the 87.5. It was trading against it and started pulling back yesterday and now pulling back to the bottom and the top of the channel. Done. That was short-term. Is that a long-term? No. Long-term, remember, the potential double top is off the table, but if we start breaking below the 21 on a weekly, I'll sit up and take notice. We're not there yet. So let's just see. I'm still going to be looking on a pullback. Again, where cycle tops rolling over, I'm now patiently looking for a bigger pullback in gold in the short term for another potential buy. Silver, the potential double top is not yet off the table. We did hit a key harmonic area yesterday and pulling back. But the potential invalidation point for the double top has to get above 40.04. Again, this double top will probably not trigger. It's just something on my radar screen. Copper broke out, hitting the next minor harmonic, 595. Sorry, not 59. 595 yesterday, and putting in copper. Again, we could be putting in a pretty significant divergence up here. If you're not already long, I would not be chasing it. Dollar index came back, closed below the 62.5. Now I'm being patient. I'm still watching for dollar bounce plays, but I am being patiently watching for dollar bounce plays with cycles still could be more down here, and I'm watching for at least reconnect with 75. So being patient because we closed below 62.5. Even with the bounce today, there is not a fantastic pattern. So back to being patient on the dollar. We got the bounce before, pulled back, now closed. We never got a buy setup, closing below 62.5. That's why just don't buy magic levels. Wait for a setup. Euros now entering potential. This is interesting, though. Dollar's not entered double bottom territory yet. The euro has entered potential double top territory. And I think there's going to be a major shift in the dollar. I don't know what's going to trigger it. Now, could we still break out higher and invalidate this? Yes, that's why I will not. I'll look for a daily front run pattern, but there's nothing yet. The invalidation point would be above 118.98, so just remember 119. Yields on the yen. This is another thing that's interesting. There's your JGBs, pulled back rotation zone, breaking out again. There's going to be something that tips, especially with Japan. Mark my words. Bookmark my words. 40 years, not so much, but 10 years starting to really break out of a massive 1, 2, triple topping pattern. Keep an eye on this. This could be another canary in the coal mine. Now I'm watching again for bottoming setups in the yen. Bottoming setups pulled back. We did close below the 21 just a little. I'm still looking for bottoming setups in there. Spiders. No more little mini potential double, which again never triggered. We're gapping up near the harmonic today. This 634.88. Again, that's about it. I'm watching the 1 hour rotation zone on this, by the way. Here's exactly what I'm looking at, the 1 hour rotation zone. If here we go already. See, here we go already. Already hit the next harmonic. What else? Sorry, I'm running behind today. Qs. Then we'll look at a couple other things. The Qs, the harmonic again is 566.13. You want the mini levels. If you want the mini levels for today, they're based off these little harmonics: 566.99, 567.92, and the next major level is 570.38. Tesla getting slot. By the way, Tesla, you had to trade it after hours. I hope if you're, I said I was looking for short setups. That's why I had this on my chart. You had to trade it after hours. It did give entries, by the way. 4 hour double top, bad earnings. Look where it just traded. Look where it just traded. Straight down the targets and the 62.5. Why was I using conservative targets here? Because it made a cluster to 62.5. Would I be buying it? No. Okay, the aggressive targets would still be a little lower at 305. All right. What else do we have? Hold on. What else do we have? We already looked. Oh, where did you? I want to just see UNH real quick again. Then we'll look at HIMS. Got be gut buying this. This is just gap down by the dip. Would not be touching it still. If you are looking for something, you can still do the gap fill. I'm not interested at all. HIMS. Again, we already had the play back in the 62.50 to 62.5, the breakout, the move higher. I'd be very careful at this going into earnings. There still is a gap fill play higher, though. And if it didn't fill before earnings, I'd be taking the gains off the table. But there's your HIMS. XLRE and XA. We'll have to look at those tomorrow. It was just more of a rotation. It's not necessarily catch up. There was a rotation yesterday into out of some riskier stuff, and it was more of a broad market. It was out of some of the concentrated stocks into a broad market base more yesterday, and in some of the big caps. It was weak. It was weak. That was a red flag yesterday. I did not mention that. Thank you for bringing it up, Charles. It was a red flag. It was the worst bond auction in, I don't remember the exact time frame, but in quite a while. Yeah, I got to your HIMS, Christoph. So if you're still looking for long plays, there's still a gap fill higher, and we're still in this insane environment. We're still in insanity. Would not be short in this market even with Coco's money. Where is Coco today? Where's Coco today? So again, I'm just watching for pullback plays, not short plays at this time. And unless we get momentum key reversal selling, but we'd have to have a headline out of nowhere. We are getting short-term exhaustion. Keep that in mind. But again, it's very risky to just try to keep short. If you try to keep short in this thing, because any dip in the rotation zone is getting bought. Christoph wants the gap fill. SoFi. Slow Ride. Who did that song? Slow Ride. Foghat? Is that a Foghat song? Does anybody still remember Foghat? SoFi. Again, still long. Percent B buy. Learn your percent B buys. Especially stocks, weekly percent B buys are killer. This was a daily, again, into the rotation zone. Setting up potential bottoming. Candle. Breaking above that high. Falling through with a close. The only thing against the 87.5. Now, the only thing that would change the tune on this would be is if we trigger this. Let's see if we're in territory. Maybe we should have a SoFi song to the slow ride. SoFi, take it easy. What do you think? 2201, 2201. It's officially in potential double top territory. Does not mean it'll have a trigger, but I'd definitely be raising a stop if you're long this. Guess where the key stop, especially if you've been long this for a while, guess where the key stop area is? Because we've entered double top territory. Potential. Could it keep going? Yeah. There you go. Foghat. You got an OD green. Anybody remember Dazed and Confused? I know. Oh, yeah. Dazed and Confused for so long. It's not true. Little Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin. Yeah. See, you know, when they're playing this stuff as oldies, they're not oldies. It's still classic rock. Come on. It's not oldies yet. Oldies is still like 50s. Come on. I just missed the good. I want some good guitar rock. So, all right, with that, I don't think I missed anybody's stuff. Don't think I missed anybody. We'll go over XLRE and XHB tomorrow. Let's just peek in. It might be a choppier day, but again, I'll still look. I've been not in the air on the side of anything looking for support trades. Again, we're running out of momentum. The initial claims and continuing claims numbers weren't shocking. Let's see what comes out of the administration today. There's a potential, you know, they announced yesterday the Japan tariff one, but are we getting an EU tariff one? We'll see. And with that, what do we have going on tomorrow? Let's just take a look. Where's my stuff? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Too many windows open. Tomorrow we have durable goods. Durable goods. That's the big thing tomorrow. And with that, I shall talk to everyone later. Let's see. Thank you, Jacob. Goodbye. Amen for rock. Let's bring back some good rock. Bye for now. Have a wonderful day.